Hey everybody, Tim Charron here with howtobookgigs.com, and today we are going over 4 ways to increase your income on each and every gig. That's right. So this is how you can take one gig and turn it into 4, if not more, income streams from just one gig. Do me a favor, make sure that you subscribe, whether you're listening to the podcast or whether you are watching the YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Okay, let's dig right into this because I want to keep these videos short and sweet and give you some extremely useful tips and tricks. Okay, so how to 4x your income for each gig. A couple of them are going to be very obvious. So number one, and this works best with like solo, duo, trio, acoustic gigs, which is kind of, they're basically less loud. Okay, so number one is get a paid gig. Okay, so let's say you're playing a solo gig. Actually, I'm going to give you my example of this at the end of this video. Okay, so a solid example of a gig that I played. So let's say you're going to get a solo gig to sit on a bar stool at a bar or restaurant and play, covers and some of your own songs and stuff. So there you go. That's one way to get paid, and the best way to get paid, you just get a base. So say $200 or $250 to play the gig. That's way number one. Pretty obvious. Okay, number two? Put out a tip jar. That's pretty obvious too. Most people do that when they're playing acoustic gigs, solo or duo or trio. So put out a tip jar and make sure that you are mentioning your tip jar. A few things that I do, actually, I'll throw in some extra tips in here. So I started my career playing all solo acoustic, sometimes 7 days a week for years. That's how I made a living for a few years. So I've played well over 1,000 solo acoustic gigs. And one thing that works really well is to prime the pump, so to speak. Put cash in your tip jar, especially if it's see-through. If it's not see-through, I kind of lay it over the side of the bucket so that people can see it. And then every once in a while you want to, draw people's attention to it, mention it to the audience. When someone tips, make sure you thank them over the microphone, because then everybody hears social proof. Hey, they're tipping. We should tip this person as well. So there you go. Number 3. Let's see. Now this one, I actually have a tutorial for this to show you exactly how to do this. And it is basically, you can collect royalties for your live performances through BMI Live or ASCAP onstage. Those are PROs, performing rights organizations. And if you have your songs on the radio, these are the organizations that collect the money and pay you for it. But you can go and play at a bar or restaurant down the street, submit that to BMI or ASCAP online. It's all online that you submit it. It's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. Again, I have a YouTube tutorial on exactly how to do that. And you make, sometimes I'll make $100 a quarter. So every 3 months, sometimes I'll make $500 a quarter, just depending on how many gigs I play. So this is extra money, found money that you are most likely not getting paid right now. So it's just being lost, and it would be like you going and playing a gig, putting out a tip jar, people come in, they put in money, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and then you just leave that tip jar sitting there, and you go home, and you don't bring the money home with you. It's found money, BMI Live, ASCAP on stage. So that's 3 ways to make money from one gig. Now, number 4 is virtual tip jars and live streaming during your actual gig. So let me give you an example. I'll give you an example, and I will break it down for you from a gig that I did. So I've been playing some solo gigs in Key Largo down in the Florida Keys. So I got paid $250 base pay to play the gig. Put out a tip jar, made, I think, around $55 from that. I do BMI Live. I've been doing BMI Live for years to make this is passive income with the BMI Live. This is like I said, found money. So it's kind of hard to judge how much you make per gig from BMI Live, but say it's $10, say it's $20, or say it's 15, something like that. Whatever it is, it's found money. So add that. Now, what I also did was I set up for about 20 minutes, half hour. I grabbed a bar stool, set up my phone, and just live streamed from my page to my fans and put my digital virtual tip jars in the description and a couple of tips for when you're doing that during a live gig. Okay, you're going to perform just like normal, but when it's in between songs, you're going to turn towards the phone or whatever you're live streaming with, if it's a computer or a laptop, and address the live stream. So what you don't want to do is just play your gig like normal and just have this phone like shooting up from the side, under your face, and you never look at the live stream, or you don't address the live stream, or you don't look at the phone. That's not what you want to do. You want to make sure that you are speaking to people, because you always want to acknowledge, number one, you want to acknowledge the people that are watching, and you also want to once or twice in that mention the digital tip jars. You always want to, and you want to try to see if you can see the comments, so that when people comment on the live stream, whether it's Instagram or I do Facebook because that one's just the one that I'm most comfortable with. But you want to when someone comments, you want to say their name and acknowledge them and react in between songs to the comment. You don't want to do that over the microphone, because then it's going to confuse the people at the bar or restaurant. Okay? So in between songs is kind of a balancing act, but in between songs or in between you singing, look over and address that live stream. So that is number 4. That's 4 ways that you can increase your income streams from each and every gig. So for this example, $250 base pay. I made $55. Let me do some math here. $55 in tips in person. We'll say $15 from BMI Live. And I believe on that one, I made like $60 through PayPal and Venmo from the virtual tip jars. So that's $380 for playing one gig. Sitting on a bar stool for 3 45-minute sets. So not bad. Also, a bonus one is, 2 bonuses basically. This one might be kind of obvious, but sell merch at these gigs. Make sure that you have CDs, maybe koozies, stuff like that. But also another extra bonus, just a little tip is take the time to build a Shopify store. Look into Shopify and Printful, and you can sell your merch and have a virtual store, a website that's a store on Shopify, and it's kind of like drop shipping. So basically, the fans order the merch, and then Shopify fulfills everything. They print. Well, Printful does, but you use them together. Printful will print your merchandise and ship it to your fans / customers. And it's a really nice and streamlined process. So that's pretty much like 6 ways to increase your revenue for each and every gig. So let me know if you have used any of these techniques. Drop a comment. Very important. Please make sure that you subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure that you're getting notifications for every time that I put something out if you're digging this. And my gift to you, make sure that you grab the free download of the guide on how to book gigs. It's basically a quick guide on how to book gigs the easy way at howtobookgigs.com. Thanks.